And this is a lot of the time where defenders will lean into you, like you see Lively here, and they're going to relax a little bit, which is a perfect recipe to blow by a defender, especially when they're a little bit taller. He goes when the ball's still on the way up. It's unpredictable. You have Lively leaning a little bit, boom, and then he explodes. Now, once he gets that step, number one, he's getting shoulder to the hip here. He's done such an incredible job of kind of sneaking by, getting that shoulder into the hip, rotating, and then going off 2 feet. If you want the details of the game like you've never seen them before, you came to the right place. If you're a small guard, you want to get better, or just a player in general who wants to learn from the best, this is a good video for you. It'll be a little bit different than how we usually do videos. It'll be more of a live breakdown, something I've honestly wanted to do more of, just kind of taking you guys play by play and showing you guys how to notice some of these things, what details to look for, and break it down play by play. But we'll cover 3 different smaller guards, undersized guards, one in the NBA, one in EuroLeague, one in college, that I study a lot, and I think you guys can learn from a ton. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Again, this will be a little bit longer, uncut. Let me know if you like these style of videos, and I'm always happy to make more. I'm usually watching this film anyway, so might as well bring y'all along with me. We'll start with Fred VanVleet, a guy who is incredibly physical, makes up for his size a lot with physicality, with being able to creatively use bumps, absorb bumps, but then also being able to shoot from the perimeter incredibly well, right? One thing I love about Fred and a lot of smaller guards' shots is just the fluidity that comes with it. And you can even notice here how he's already timing up the dip, so to speak, or the lowering portion of his shot as the ball is in the air, right? And this is something that a lot of younger players do not get at first. They catch and then load up. They catch and then, quote unquote, dip the ball down. But for him, you can see again now lifting his feet up. So by the time he catches the ball, it's just catch and then straight up from there. And that's how a lot of that kind of no dip, how those shots work most times. Because again, there still is a dip. It's just pre-catching the ball, if that makes sense. Easy stuff there. But again, some of these easy plays you guys will see have the nicest details off of this. Again, if we're talking shot fluidity here, just a nice little like let the ball float, and then he'll allow himself time to get rhythm into the shot. Once again, a lot of players are not good enough at letting the ball float, letting it go, and then kind of catching up to it from there. You can look at this obviously and say, look, I'm never going to have a ball screen played like this with the big literally coming up from the baseline. But you'll notice here, in terms of just pace setting up this screen, he is pushing the defender down so he has an easier angle off of that. Using that off arm, again, you're going to get away with that most times, especially if you're just holding it there, not necessarily pushing off with it. And that allows him to create this easy drop situation where he's getting a wide open shot. And for you, yeah, maybe the defender's a little bit further up, but you have a lot more room to work with. Simple there. All right, let's get to some good stuff. Same idea here. Now he's not using physicality to set up this ball screen. But again, this is the way he's thinking a couple steps ahead. Number one, all right, this is allowing him to get this defender up this way, which allows him to set this up easier. But I would argue there's more than this. If you look at any time where a defender's setting up a screen like this, watch what this defender does. When he takes this dribble, or at least turns his attention this way, he's moving out this way, right? So now you have a gap that is closing out, creating more spacing. He doesn't end up using that. But ball screens are just as much about those gap defenders as they are about the two that are involved in the play, right? And you have to be able to manipulate those. I honestly don't know why teams are playing such crazy drop on him like this. Obviously, he's very good at attacking hard hedges and really anything else other than a drop, but those are some crazy space to give him. We'll see. Okay, something that I think, or another thing, is probably the third or fourth thing that I don't think players are good enough yet, but isn't necessarily a crazy thing, is being able to attack closeouts with pace. Now, most smaller guards, you're typically working on attacking off the dribble. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Attacking off the dribble, right? Ball screens, playing off the bounce. But you guys are also very, very high potential in terms of attacking closeouts. And I say that because you know how to move well typically. You're lower to the ground. You have the leverage to be able to blow by defenders with a tight angle off a closeout, especially when you can add in some pace here. Like you'll see him kind of slow down, right? Make instead of a 0-second decision, we call it a 0.5-second decision, where he allows the defender to actually get a little bit closer, take one bigger stride here, relax a little bit, boom, he's gone. And then gets his hips turned from there. Easy work. So again, start to attack closeouts a little bit more creatively. Same thing here, right? Small guards at the highest level, especially at the NBA level, are not always going to be the ones who are initiating plays. They're going to be catching it. They're going to be attacking closeouts. You probably are going to be doing the same thing, and you need to get good at these things if you want to maximize every part of your game. One thing I like about Fred, too, I don't know if y'all peeped the one earlier, but he's very adaptable with his arc, right? So obviously Wemby here isn't going to block him, but that's Wemby, and he knows that. So even on a shot where he jumps a little bit more, he still gets it super high in the air, which is tough, right? Most times, if you jump, you're going to end up with your shot trajectory a little bit flatter because you're shooting from the top of it, but you can tell he works on that for sure. Got some details on that one, but not worth it. Waiting for some good stuff. Okay. Getting open off the ball. He's very creative, setting go screens, getting active off the ball, and also creating closeout situations there. Now, this is something that Fred is incredible at, and I'm sure I've talked about in plenty of videos recently with angles, leveraging bigger physical defenders who are playing you physical. Now, he's got Lively on him here, okay? First off, he creates that advantage unpredictably by, like, he's lost the ball a little bit. He's in a defensive stance, so to speak. That's what we would call it, right? Where he's protecting the ball here. And this is a lot of the time where defenders will lean into you, like you see Lively here. Like, his angle is leaning into Fred there. And they're going to relax a little bit, which is a perfect recipe to blow by a defender, especially when they're a little bit taller. So you can see he goes when the ball's still on the way up. It's unpredictable. I'll play it live one more time through that, okay? Whereas, again, he's here. He loses it. You have Lively leaning a little bit. Boom. And then he explodes when that ball is on the way up. Now, once he gets that step, this is the real impressive thing to me. Number one, he's getting shoulder to the hip here. And he's not, knowing that Clay's right here, he's not looking to take a wide angle like he probably could here because he sees this gap and realizes that he has to get through this, okay? Now, this is actually a great cut here, even though he's kind of cutting into his driving lane. What this does is brings Clay with him, right? Or at least pulls his attention away. Now he could potentially hit this cutter here, but he's already has this advantage because he's done such an incredible job of kind of sneaking by, getting that shoulder into the hip, rotating, and then going off 2 feet, which is something that Fred is also fantastic at. A lot of things, but you have to be as a smaller guard in the NBA. But being able to extend, just get one extra foot on the ground, extend with the left to have more control and also quickness in this one, fantastic. A little bit of a foul bait there, but if you do watch, right here, you'll notice that he's really ducking that shoulder into that kind of trailing defender, all right? Most times for most of us, it would end up being like a pickup, maybe a push out from there. You slow down, play with a little bit of pace, but when you're Fred freaking Van Vliet and you're in the league, you can take those type of shots, but point still remains. Beautiful movement. Again, nothing crazy here, but he pushes to the corner with the drive. Drive is driving towards him. That means he is also creating more space from his defender here, Pods, who's in a tough situation now, and this is pulling the string, I call it, right? Imagine a string between these two defenders. The more that he can get this way, the more the string gets pulled, the more open you're going to be. Without this, you are not getting open off the ball. You're leaving points on the table, and you cannot do that when you're a smaller guard. Great angle once again, right? Like right here, this is going to be a tough finish. So he's got to find some way to get the defender out of the play here. So he gets foot really far outside of his body, which means he's actually moving laterally here. He's not really trying to move forward. He's literally looking to move into the defender here laterally. And then from there, that not only throws off the timing, so gets the defender in the air, but obviously pushes him backwards towards this lane line here, like his momentum is going this way, and then he's able to extend away as the defender is on his way down, which is very difficult to guard. Watch a couple more here and then get to the next two. Again, rare midi here early in the game, but sets up his defender well. Okay, because of that, he has a true 2v1 here, and love a little nice elbow midi in the league, man. Don't see that very often. Bold shot there. I love it. 17 seconds on the shot clock, and breaking down Brunson in the mid-range here. But again, this just goes to show in terms of watches like his pickup and the fluidity he gets here. He's moving backwards. It's a pretty big step behind the three-point line. Feet are narrow, so he's able to adapt his shooting form to this and then still have a fluid shot off of that. Again, not a shot that I would assume most of y'all are taking in games, but good stuff to study there. Tough shot here. One thing that I notice on plays like this is that really adaptable finishers in this area will usually shoot these type of shots on the way down, right? So he's really trying to push through Brunson here. Like, just imagine there's a freaking wall right there and you're just trying to push through it and you're not getting anywhere. Sometimes that happens. You're playing against a physical guy. He's got a little bit more leverage. So, again, being as adaptable as Fred is, which you have to be as a small guard, he's going to jump backwards and then notice that he's adjusting and is not in a rush to get the shot off. So he shoots it essentially as that foot is about to hit the ground as he's on the way down, which gives him a lot more control and time to readjust. Similar where it's just bigger defender, got to find a way. You have to find a window of space. He's on the way down. It's tough to get this shot off. Window of identified space is right here. So he's straight up into it, and you got to be able to use both hands from there. Even at weird angles, like you notice he's kind of here with it, which is nice. Look at that. Some of the same themes, rather, that we're talking about right here. Neutralizes this defender by getting in front. All right, pushes his momentum out this way, which is going to create a nice little driving angle, more of a 2v1 with Adams and defender. Bridges does a great job of getting back. This is what we would call physical adaptability, where he's able to catch himself in a weird position, be strong here, and still operate, right? And then being able to then finish out of that with the left is insane. But now we've seen, skill adaptability, which is being able to manipulate the ball in non-ideal situations, whether it's a shot, shooting it higher, whether it's a finish, extending with the left when you didn't really expect to, or being able to move it as you are in the air. And then we've seen physical adaptability in a lot of these where he's catching himself off balance and able to make things work. We categorize adaptability into a few different types, and I'm sure we'll cover the last one at some point. Last thing here, you got to be able to make faders to your left, to your right, back, even forward sometimes. If you are a fixed shooter, so to speak, where you can only shoot going up and down as a smaller guard, it's not going to work because you're going to need to be able to separate out. Imagine if he jumps straight up here. It's getting blocked. It's not a good shot. This, I would argue, for 3 seconds on the shot clock, is a fantastic shot to find. All right, now we'll switch up to a completely different style of player. I don't want to say completely different. He's still fast, aggressive, physical, but it's a different style of play for sure in EuroLeague. Campazzo he's had great success. I don't want to say great success, but he's had a very solid stint in the NBA. I think he should have stuck around longer, and he's easily one of my favorite players to watch. So we'll go through a little bit of this, and with him, a lot of this truly does start on defense. Like, I know that's cliche, but being able to, early in games, late in games, create turnovers and energy is huge. Skill adaptability right there, something you'll need. But I don't know how much defense he'll show here. I didn't even watch this video yet. But keep in mind that, again, as a smaller guard, if you can really be physical, scrappy, create some turnovers, it's going to help that momentum start flowing a lot easier. Okay, a lot to take in there. First off, we always got to look at shot clock. 5 seconds on the shot clock, which means he's trying to go ISO, create something, create an advantage, or get a quick ball screen, okay? From here, gap defender is not an ideal situation. Yui preferably would be kind of pushing over this way to bring this gap defender here, or he would have gotten this screen over there. Either way, he's going to figure it out with a pickup. Pickup from the three-point line for a smaller guard when you're not Giannis is not easy, though. So what you'll see him do is get up in the air, and I'm not suggesting that you do this, but this is what great point guards, especially smaller ones, are able to do. And he's going to figure it out from there because he knows that he doesn't have many options. He knows that if he gets to 2 feet in this area with 2 seconds left on the shot clock and in the trees, he's done. So he gets up, and he just knows where his teammate is, right? He knows that Poirier right here is going to be following on that roll because he rolls hard as shit every time, and he makes it work. So we're just seeing more and more adaptability come into place here. Now, this is something that you'll see, especially the European point guards do really well. NBA point guards as well, of course. But never letting your roller, never getting ahead of your roller. So never letting your roller get behind you. In other words, Tavares here who just set this screen. If Campazzo uses his speed to get up here, then it's easy because the big is playing a one-on-one versus a two-on-one now, right? And this is why being able to stay in front of this defender right here is so important because now it's a 2v1. You can slow down. The big's going to have to make a decision here, so Hayes steps over there. And then you can make it look like a floater and throw a nice lob, and not all of us have that luxury. But point is, if you are constantly getting ahead of your roller, you're going to be putting yourself in some pretty tough situations here. I like that little action. This is kind of a side note, but just kind of run around this guy, create some confusion, get this guy out of here, and then set a nice ball screen. It's cool. Anyways, splitting the screen here is something, again, you'll see a lot more in Europe because of these hard hedges and aggressive blitzes. Key here for ball handlers is that you need to be reading this now, right? You cannot wait until this happens, right? Now, are you thinking about this stuff? When you're experienced, no. Right? This is just instinct. For him, he's not thinking, okay, this guy looks like he's about to blitz. Let me try to do this. At first, when you are looking for these options, start to think about this. Hey, before this big sets the screen, like even right here, what does this big look like they're going to do? Okay, he looks like he's going to try to pop out here, and I'm going to maybe, explore this option a little bit. Now, for him, he's taking that kind of like pocket dribble back first, right? Because he still has the control to be able to explode out of there and get downhill. Ends up doing a really good job of keeping the ball intact. And then once you split a screen, splitting and rejecting screens are the toughest things to recover from. And that's why they're so important to look for. Paint touches, paint touches, paint touches. He is extremely relentless with just getting to this area. He doesn't need to score there. He just needs to collapse, right? And he has 5 players right here who are within a few feet of him. Get a nice seal here for Hazonia. Makes it work, right? But it's about getting those paint touches, collapsing the defense, and that's something you'll see him do pretty much better than anyone. Okay. A lot of great stuff here, actually. Let me go back even further. Number 1, notice he scans the floor before anything. He sees where everyone is at. He invests a second of his time with 12 seconds on the shot clock to see what's going on the floor and to be able to manipulate it. So now, right, he looks at Musa here and goes, hey, get out of there. You are going to open this gap, right? Now he has this gap to work with. It's basically a 2v2, right? Because of that 2v2, now with this roll, and I want to go back, sorry, one more time here. I'm a nerd for stuff like this, all right? Because he kind of ghosts this and Parker ends up out here, now you're going to end up with a essentially a double team and an open man. And it's really just 2 things here. How do you make sure that these guys don't overcompensate and tag to steal this ball or get a hand in there? And 2, how the hell do you get a ball around both of these defenders at 5 foot, whatever Campazzo is, right? How he does this, looks off this tag. You can see him scoot the opposite way, right? So after he looks this way, this tag goes up rather than diving in. You can also see, again, I can't see his eyes, so I'm just making guesses here, but this guy's jumping this way, Parker's jumping up, makes that fake to kind of take care of both of them, and then just finds a beautiful window. And bounce passes are something that I don't think enough players are good at either, right? I'm going to just, I guess, keep calling those things out. simple skills that can actually be very tough if you use them the right way. Like, that is an incredible play. And I think a lot of us would try to make like a skip, not a skip pass, one hand like chest pass, direct pass without a bounce there. And it wouldn't be as smooth for them to catch, and it's a lot easier to intercept. Defense, there we go. Gets a nice dunk, boom, he's rolling. He creates so many runs for his team by just getting a nice stop, getting an easy bucket in transition, and then building some momentum from there. Okay, end of a game here, right? Fourth quarter, 10 seconds on the shot clock, tie game. Now, what you'll see here is Tavares sets a screen where he is going to twist it. Now, after your big twists a couple screens like that or flips it, right? What you'll see is that these bigs, and mainly this guard, is going to be playing it for that. So if you're able to create this momentum advantage, we call it, like really get downhill fast, you never know what chaos is going to happen here. So you might as well attack this as soon as you see some confusion from these two guys, right? So it gets downhill. Actually, a pretty nice corner cut here. This is a pretty common principle. But with that, sometimes comes bringing your defender into the picture. But he does a really good job of kind of exiting that and making sure he doesn't bring him directly to him. He gets off 2 feet. That's just a nice finish. Going back to some of the stuff that we talked about with Van Vliet, where, again, he creates the contact. He's off the ground first. So as the big is getting off of the ground, he's bumping, and that's, of course, going to inhibit his ability to get off the ground. And then he just extends out, and that's something you can't really think about. You just got to – is he out? You just got to have experience there. Guess the ref didn't see that. I don't know what the rule is. Anyways, one thing you'll see a lot in EuroLeague and Europe in general, FIBA basketball, is actions into ball screens, right? So now you have a DHO into a ball screen here, which is going to take you being able to read this even faster, right? For example, if you're just dribbling straight into a ball screen, you're just perceiving that entire situation. That's all you got to worry about. Here, you're hauling ass, going full speed, running around a curve. You got a defender flying at you, and the next thing you know, you're coming off a ball screen. You got to read it. But he's incredible at this, and he sees that he gets caught on this screen and that he can take an angle this way, but he's constantly looking and being patient enough to engage this defender. He's basically saying, hey, if you step over, I'm throwing this lob. He knows that, so he doesn't fully step over. He's still able to keep a nice angle on the initial defender and finishes from there. Once again, he's the one that initiates the contact. He is the one that starts that battle and hits first. And that's incredibly important for guys like this. Okay, this will be probably the last one, and then we'll go to Marcus Burton, college player. But once again, handoff directly into an action. All right, this is not a ball screen, but rather a flare. This is a set play, I would assume. This is still early in the shot clock, early in the game. So what he's looking for here is one thing. After this flare screen, is this big going to stay up on Tavares? Or is this big going to go with the guy getting flared? Big does not. Now, the read, I don't know if he's looking here, but I'm sure he's perceiving this, is this, right? Is he seeing this and going to step over to stop this easy bucket? If so, then that's a kick here, right? If this big were to step down there, he would probably hit Tavares and then get off like a get, right? So getting downhill because this big would be so far down. But works out well. Big stays, he stays, and you get to make a beautiful pass to a very nice cut. Last one here. I know we're racking up on time, but this is how I like doing these, just giving you guys a ton of information, is Marcus Burton. Scored, I guess the stats right here, 21 a game this year for Notre Dame. Incredibly explosive, but also a smart player, ballsy, super fun to watch. If you guys haven't heard of him, check him out a little more. I promise you guys would enjoy it. And again, you'll notice a lot of the same things here, right? Creating the contact, initiating the contact battle. Right here, doesn't necessarily have a nice line to the rim. He could probably make it work, but it would be around here, and you got a ton of traffic right there. Very active with the off arm, but what he's looking to do here is, once again, just get a paint touch from there. Can he kick? Maybe, but he also sees this defender right here is still kind of pushing back, holding home on his defender or on his man, so he's able to move backwards and separate off of that. Again, if you're not shooting faders as a small guard, what are you doing? It's going to be very tough for you. The point is, you can separate into space anywhere, even if it's backwards. That is nice. Very good way to leverage a defender going under the screen here, right? He's kind of confused. Big does a great job of rolling with that defender to make sure it's tough for him. By the time he gets back, maybe a little hand under the ball, but we ain't going to say nothing about that. By the time he gets back, it's super easy. He's going to be very sensitive to jumping on a shot. He knows that. Gets downhill really well, gets the off arm in there right away. And then also gets to 2 feet because he knows, especially in college, there is going to be traffic there. He's fantastic fantastic at going off of 2 feet, and he makes it work. Nice little drag screen in transition, something you can look for sure. Call your big over to set a screen directly as you're coming down the court, and you'll see the help is completely out of position because it's transition. It's hard to stop. Probably a defensive stop here. Same thing, just like in Paso. How do you get momentum for your team? Get stops, become a pest, be able to pick up. That's how a lot of these small guards make their living at first. That's a tough shot. Like I said, very ballsy player, and it makes it really fun to watch. Yeah, shooting over 2. Okay, so let's talk about why he made this decision, right? Comes off this ball screen. Number one, this guy should probably have spaced out this way. Why? Well, because right now, this defender can more easily play 2. But if he were to space out quicker this way, this defender would have to be down here. And then now this roll is rolling into a clear space. So that makes it a little bit tough, right? Like, he would like to hit the roll, I'm sure. I mean, he's looking to score too, but he would like to hit the roll. But since this guy starts already lifted up when he does lift, this guy's like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to just stay there. So he ends up shooting that, which is the importance of spacing, right? Like, even if you're the ball handler, you have to realize when your teammates have good spacing, when they're poorly spacing, and be prepared for those things. Sometimes you won't have the best spacing around you, and you're going to have to make that work, and, you know, that'll look different. Honestly, really good at coming off of off-ball actions like this. I like this. This is kind of what you'll see the Nuggets run a lot with Murray and Jokic, where there's some sort of screen down here. Usually it's a Spanoulis action, we'll call it, where they set like a down screen. And then Murray would be coming up. Either way, it gets this defender a little bit out of place, and he comes up and takes his hand off. And this is basically a ball screen. Now, what I really like about this is that they clear out the guard to create this nice little roll here. And he probably had this kick as well, but it's so open because they ran that nice little 3-man action. So I love those. The most traditional, I guess, form is called the Spanoulis action, but a bunch of different types of it. Good spacing there. Simple but good, right? A lot of players would end up being here because they want the ball. They're like, swing me the ball. But they actually get a better opportunity to get the ball if they back up into space because they know that this gap defender is going to step in and they're going to have a wide open 3 ball. So again, stop running to the ball. It's probably actually decreasing your chances of getting the ball, or at least getting it in an open space, which is ironic, but that's how basketball works. Okay, 0.5 second decision again, all right, or this is at least what it looks like, where he catches high. Number one, skill adaptability, right? Being able to catch high like that and still get a shot off. 2, it looks like he's just super composed, being able to kind of pull the ball down, check the clock, evaluate whether he needs to take a quick dribble, and then shoot it. I don't know if I'm tripping here, but it definitely looks patient. It looks composed. It's not like he's just like, boom, get it down and then straight up into the shot. And again, knowing how much time you have, how much space you have, just comes from experience, and being able to be patient and composed in situations like this is huge. That's nice. Last one we'll talk about here. Comes off a ball screen. Okay, you got a gap, you got a hedge, and you got a pretty tight tag defender here. No rush, right? His goal here is to get out this way so he can really stretch this big further from the roll, okay? And he does a really good job by getting through this gap. Now he probably has his kick as well, But now the only decision that he's reading, other than if this defender would appeal here, is this guy. Is he going to step over and leave this man in the corner, or is he going to stay here and leave this roll, right? Takes his time. Once again, bounce pass. All these patterns are coming back together. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I wanted to give you, I guess, sample sizes of each of these guys to go and study on your own. Let me know if you want to see more of these videos. If you would like certain breakdowns, certain concepts, certain players, certain teams, certain games, whatever the case may be, I'm more than happy to make them. I love being able to dive into these details with you guys and put you on it, maybe some things you haven't noticed over the course of watching hoops.